Talk and Entertainment Radio, 610 WIOD, Miami, Fort Lauderdale. Talk and Entertainment Radio, 610 WIOD of Paxson Company presents The Neil Rogers Show. To talk to Neil, call 751-WIOD in Dade, 524-WIOD in Broward. Outside Dade and Broward, call 1-800-944-WIOD. AT&T Wireless and Bell South Mobility callers can use pound IOD. Now, The Neil Rogers Show on Talk and Entertainment Radio, 610 WIOD.
Neil, God.
Oi! You jackass!
People are watching, women are staring, they're green with envy. But I'm not sharing, some say he's brainless, not much fun talking, not much to look at, but I ain't looking, he smells just a little too much, his eyes are a little too close, his nose is just a little too long, but while they're groaning, I will be moaning, darling, he's got a really big trouser trout.
Oi!
The girls would scream if he let it out. He's got a really big trouser trout. I'm fishing for love. He's got a really big trouser trout. That boy can make me just twist and shout. He's got a really big trouser trout. I'm fishing for love.
Increíble.
He's got a really big trouser trout, fishing for love.
Oh! I gotta tell you, boy, they're coming down on us like crazy, like you wouldn't believe. That's why all the good stuff is coming back now. 10:02 at WIOD. Happy Wednesday to you. And here we are for we're turning the corner. Two more trips down a highway from hell, man, and that's it. And this morning especially, and maybe it's going to be this way tomorrow and Friday, extraordinarily out of the ordinary annoying trip, like through hell in Dade County. And that's great, because screw it. That's it. Two more and we're all done with that crap. And we move into palatial new surroundings, and then things are going to really change, okay? These next 3 days, to be honest with you, it's just more bull crap is what it is. So anyway, I don't want to start with Ron and Ron because, hey, they're going to have a number the likes of which you haven't seen. They're going to have the biggest morning numbers on this station since before Mike Ranieri was an infant, before he was an embryo. But how come it is that everybody who interviews Drew Rosenhaus has to kiss his ass? Can you answer me that question? Here is, even Sports Illustrated, with their usual mamby-pamby approach to life, even they agree that here's one of the most objectionable people on the face of the earth. He kind of represents everything unctuous about the University of Miami, about its football program, about its whole attitude toward life. He represents everything that's obnoxious about greed, you name it, whatever it is. And everybody who gets him on the air just kisses his ass and just love, like all over his
rectum.
Man, this guy must be sore, both cheeks. So maybe you can explain that to me, what that's all about. The good news, though, like I told you, no contest, man, a landslide, 60-40. Alex Pinellas, God. Oh! What'd I tell you? What did I tell you? As the Miami Herald and Mickey Arison both taking up their collective rectums today. Oh, brother, is that a beautiful thing? So, hey, those of you who, wanted to vote Republican, that's the way it goes. This is the ironic part of the whole deal, and I really don't care. I just mentioned this in passing because it goes to show you how phony people are. Republicans are, the Republican was Art Thiel, and even though it's a supposedly it's a nonpartisan deal. Or Thiel is the Republican, former Democrat turned Republican, and yet he gets the overwhelming majority of the black vote who never vote Republican. On the other side, the overwhelming majority of the Cuban vote goes to Pinellas, who's a Democrat, and of course Cubans, virtually none of them ever vote Democratic, maybe 10 of them, So it goes to show you that, thank God, in this town we don't vote ethnic feelings and sentiments. But who cares, because it came out right. It came out as a beautiful thing. And then, while I hesitate to bring it up again today, but I realize that I must be in a very tiny minority, and I'm real happy about that. I'm happy not to go along with the crowd one more time on this Roberto Alomar thing. Because guess what? Most people don't even know what they're talking about. Most people are full of it, including Gordon Eads in the Sun-Sentinel, who writes one of the most ignorant columns this morning I've ever had the privilege of seeing in my life. Great expectorations. It's a shame. Oh, my God. And how, baseball's got enough problems, like I said yesterday. Most of you don't care about it anyway. But there's a vacuum of integrity both in stadium clubhouses and office inner sanctums and and no real commissioner and players against umpires and umpires fighting with owners. And in the midst of all this mud wrestling, we're supposed to care who wins the World Series? Well, guess what, Gordon? The people who are watching do care. They do care. That may come as a great shock to you, but they care. What a concept, huh? The people who are watching, like those of us who watched some of the stuff yesterday. And by the way, wasn't it fascinating to watch the Orioles beat the snot out of Cleveland 10-4? Oh, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. And I love the line in Gordon Eads' column where he says, after the game, in which Alomar was given a standing ovation by a hometown crowd that apparently checked its sense of shame at the turnstiles. How do you like that? The crowd, all of these people were wrong. They checked their sense of shame at the turnstiles. And like I've said before, I said it yesterday, I'll say it again today, after talking with a couple of people who really follow baseball, the last several years, including, it's got to be at least 7 or 8, because that's when Dave Pallone's book came out, umpires have gotten out of this power trip, man, and they're taunting players, and they're baiting them, and they're daring them to come out and get into a big contretemps like that. And whatever it was that he said is what got Alomar come like a madman rushing out of that dugout and start the whole argument all over again, which precipitated the spitting incident, and there you go. Not that it makes it right, but there's more than just one side in all of this. And the other comments that were taken out of context, to be quite honest with you, I think that Alomar may have a good point here. When anybody is under that much personal stress and duress, as Hirschbeck has been with the one dead kid and the other one that's sick with the same disease, it's very possible that it's affecting his state of mind and affecting his performance, and maybe he should take a leave of absence. Maybe he doesn't belong there. But, oh, no, right off the bat, everybody, the predictable American public, baby, rush to judgment. Don't confuse us with the facts. He spit in the guy's face, therefore, how the hell does he belong in there? Right. So nobody can kick the umpire out. Nobody can take action against the umpire, and he can do whatever the hell he wants. And basically, they've taken control, even though the pitch was a foot outside, and even though he called him a little bleep sucker or whatever it was, and precipitated the thing anyway. Nobody cares about that. Here's Fort Lauderdale on the Purple Line. Hello.
Yeah, Neil. Happy Wednesday.
Back to you.
Couple of good things. We got Pompano Park opening up.
Yes.
We have the Panthers starting to play.
Yeah, but I was going to get to that. That Sports Channel business is looking pretty marginal.
And we have Alex Pinellas winning.
Yes.
I'm losing my train of thought. Let's see what else we have going.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's what. I lost it.
You lost it, huh?
I'll look for it. If I find it, I'll speak to you later.
Well, see if Mickey Arison finds it before you do.
Thank you, sir.
Okay, pal. Let's hope not. Okay, we have an open line on the Purple Line, pound IOD. We have 2 in Dade. We got 2 in Broward. We got a million, like always, and I don't care today. Yesterday, I was distraught, man. I was so bent out of shape, and legitimately, I mean, usually it's shtick, but yesterday I was really pissed off. The first official Paxson day, and this audience is playing their hide-and-seek routine like you wouldn't believe. It was just, but you know something? Who cares? Because I know that when I sit here and I say crap that nobody else is going to say, and it's just phenomenal to me that there are so many ass-kissers in this world. If there's one thing you don't want to be, is an ass-kisser. As a matter of fact, there's a lesson for Roberto Alomar Jr. I'd rather be a sucker, having experience, than a ass-kisser. How do you like that? There's nothing to me worse than a weaselly, spineless ass-kisser. Somebody with no backbone. Here's a mobile at Doral. Hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
Listen, I have to disagree with you with Roberto Alomar.
Yeah.
Simply just because one does not justify the other. Spitting is really one of the lowest forms of ill mannerism and of sporting. I guess just to have somebody spit at you is really an insult as far as that's concerned, no matter what.
So in other words, if somebody calls you a little sucker, that's not an insult, and he didn't precipitate it?
Yeah, of course, but 2 wrongs don't make a right.
I didn't say it was right, but I'm saying that if somebody egged someone else into creating the incident and then tries to make a martyr out of himself, I'm not buying it. They were both wrong.
Yeah, spitting is just really crossing the line when it comes down to that. I mean, Roberto Alomar should have had enough intelligence to maybe.
Let me ask you something. Do you think Roberto Alomar's a hothead?
I think the majority of these sports people have big heads to begin with.
I'm not talking about your opinion about generalizing. Does Roberto Alomar have a reputation like Albert Bell or Gary Sheffield or Barry Bonds? Does he have that? I mean, do you even follow baseball?
Not whatsoever, but I not.
You don't even follow baseball, so you don't know anything about Roberto Alomar or Sandy Alomar or Sandy Amorose or any of these people.
Neil, but that's off the focus. Even if I don't follow,
it's not off the focus. It's not off the focus. It's like if somebody who's got a reputation, who's a future Hall of Fame player, who's got a reputation as a level-headed, reasonable person, is goaded and baited into doing something that grotesque. There must have been pretty ample reason for it.
I don't know. It's not. I mean, there could be ample reason for somebody going out and killing somebody and somebody else.
So in other words, now spitting in somebody's face is a step away from killing somebody. Is that it? Is that what you said?
No, of course not. But I mean, listen, if the umpire would have struck him or would have maybe taken a swing at him, but it's all intercourse. It's all verbal intercourse.
Yeah.
And that's the bottom line.
I didn't know they had intercourse.
Well, who knows?
Maybe that was the problem.
There's a lot of spitting there, I'll tell you that much.
Maybe it wasn't too good.
One more thing, Neil. I heard something in the Run and Run show this morning. By the way, I seem to like the format. I thought I would not like Run and Run, but they seem to be pretty good. Quite honestly, I love Rick and
How do you like that?
Yeah,
we want everybody out there to love all of us, and if they can't love all of us, at least most of us.
Or at least
and
you,
if
right?
not most of us, at least me, right?
At least you. Listen, one more thing. Just talk about the evolution thing. I caught the tail end of it. I'm not too sure if you have any knowledge of what has happened.
Yeah, I think Ron and Ron were saying that most of the audience were Neanderthals, is what they said.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, I think that was it. Have a great day,
All right,
pal.
Neil.
Okay.
Have a good day.
I think they said if you want to monkey around with a little sucker, you better watch yourself. Isn't that what he said? So anyway, getting back to Drew Rosenhaus. Now let's not even waste our time with him. He's just a piece of crap. And how's Brian Blades doing, by the way? He's got this thing. He must have the pictures on everybody, Drew Rosenhaus. Because even a Defoe, and of course we know that Defoe would never kiss any rectum. Of course not. But boy, the last time he had him on there, oh man, licky. This guy must have had to towel down after that interview. And again, the same one this morning. Oh, that's why we respect you so much. This and that. And of course, we know that Eric Rett making for $386,000 a year isn't nearly enough, and all these other guys are making this much. And the fans over there on the West Coast are like 0-5 and going to be 0-6 and 0-14, 0-16. And who cares about that? But just pony up the money, and if you want to see the game. It's a joke. He's one of the worst symptoms of the illness in greed in professional sports, which we are expected to subsidize and pay for, and yet nobody cares. And then everybody keeps bringing up the thing like about Tom Cruise and how he's getting $30 million for a movie. You know something? The cost of going to a movie, no matter how much he's getting, the cost to go to a movie is still $5 or $6, and it has been for years. So you're not being gouged for however much he's making, even though it's way out of proportion for his value and all of that other bull crap. Of course, he knows where all the chicks are. Tom Cruise. Right, probably at the sperm bank. Oh, sorry, Tom. Here's a mobile in Fort Lauderdale. Hello.
Good morning, Neil.
Buenos dias, amigo.
Listen, out of desperation this morning, I happen to be listening to the worst team.
Yeah.
And
you are desperate.
Well,
and by the way, more good news. It's official because it's in the newspaper that Angel O'Brien are going to TV and Randolph and Carter are gone. Oh, thank God.
That's a beautiful thing.
I might even start watching a few Marlin games next season.
There you go. Well, anyway, I hear of, a frustrated talk show host. They can't stop calling shows. There he is this morning calling Joe Rose with a vitriolic attack, just attacking the crap out of Joe Rose. The man just can't be a lawyer.
Who?
You know what I mean? Do you know who I'm talking about?
Norm Kent?
Norman Elliott Kent.
Yeah.
The man
He called Joe Rose on the air?
so desperate for radio time that he calls up and attacks Joe Rose trying to get
What do you
going.
attack Joe Rose for?
Oh, because Joe Rose said that there were some guys that showed up late to practice 15 years ago when he was playing, and Norm called up and said, I demand that you give the names of these people. Don't just make a generalization. He was doing like the attorney thing, but it was unbelievable. And Joe Rose just blew him off and called him an idiot.
Yeah.
So I just want to let you know what your attorney's up to.
Well, at least Joe Rose is talking to him. I guess nobody else over there is. So that's a start, Norm.
And great news about
Even if Greg
Angel
Reed
O'Brien.
won't talk to him or anybody else that he supposedly hired. If you had any idea, which I will be able to tell you probably next week, if you had any idea of the shenanigans at QAM that have been going on the last few months and are still going on now, you wouldn't even believe it. Your head would spin around like Linda Blair. You couldn't even begin to imagine.
Well, is Defo going there?
You're asking me? Nobody knows if they're going there because they're... Will you listen to me? Nobody knows if they're going there because nobody's returning any phone calls. People are being promised all kinds of jobs, and then when they try to find out, well, when do I start and all that, they're even promising people specific amounts of money. They're making deals with people, and then they don't return the calls. So nobody has got any idea what's gone on, including that Putsbury Jackson. They keep feeding him misinformation, and he keeps turning out to be a jackass, which we already knew. It's unbelievable.
Unbelievable.
It's typical Bush League, South Florida radio and business. Have a great day, pal.
See ya.
Okay, tell Norm I said hi. And get off the air and go do his job. Open line in Dade, 751. We got one in Broward, 524-9463, 524-WIOD. Yeah, let's not look at both sides of the story in that Roberto Alomar thing. The crowd checked its sense of shame at the turnstiles, Gordon. That's right. They have no shame. They're just shameless fans who'll do anything for a win and support their Orioles all the way to hell and back. Okay, that's what that's all about. Whatever you say, man. Because we know the umpires can do no wrong, and umpires they never bait the players, never precipitate any kind of a thing, right? Of course. 10:15 at WIOD.
Yo. 610 WIOD.
Who the hell are you? Who the hell are you? Who the hell are you?
The other night, was there a fight on the 4th of July? 'Cause now his cousin's dead, a bullet in the head. What happened? We don't know. Something fishy smells, but he won't tell. So we'll ask Brian, what did you do? Brian, what did you do? Seems not so long. He was standing on his folks' lawn, and he was crying.
Rectum.
Brian, crying. Brian, it's hard to understand. It was an accident with 2 shots flying. I don't know why your agent Drew claims the cops' reports aren't true. I want to know some more, so tell me what's the score. Brian, what did you do accidentally?
All right,
or just maybe you're lying. What did you do? Brian, what did you do? Yes, now he's gone, and from this moment on, we're asking Brian, 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 yeah, Brian.
Oh!
Brian, what did you do?
That was sure one of Drew Rosenhaus's greatest chapters in his ongoing saga when he said, hey, we don't have time for this crap. He's got to play football, man. He's got to run fast and jump high. And Seattle's getting the snot beat out of him, and I sure like that. Anyway, I do want to straighten the record out. Yesterday, remember when our friends, our good, close personal friends, the Paxson people came in here and brought me lunch? And Ronna Finkwolf and Pete Bolger and Jim Bocock, who's like Buddy Bud's right-hand and left-hand man. And after they left, I said, you know, that Jim Bocock, isn't that family like in a furniture business? That's Badcock Furniture, which is a big... I guess I had my Cox mixed up, but that was like, well, you know, between Cox Broadcasting and all the other stuff. So I guess I had him confused. So I apologize profusely because, boy, they still love us so far. It's just amazing. You have no idea. You couldn't even imagine. Here's the Miami Beach, or Miami, or somewhere like that. Hello.
Neil?
Yes, sir.
I have some shocking things to tell you.
Shocking, huh?
The other day we were watching the sports rap, whatever you call it.
Sports crap, yeah.
With Mandich and what's his face.
Yeah. What's his puss?
Rose was on it, and my wife came in the room, and guess what she said? Oh, that guy is cute.
Rosenhaus was on?
Yes.
Is that what you just said?
Yes. And my
what
wife
is this?
said,
Is
that
this?
guy's cute.
Oh, God.
Can you believe that?
Well, maybe her eyesight's failing.
Well, boy.
I was going to say maybe she's got bad taste, but, you know, what can I tell you?
A couple of other things. I was listening to the No Speaking in Class station. I'm ashamed of being a Cuban. Some of the crap that's been said on that. Neil, talking about racism.
Yeah.
Talking about election without issues is only it's just down the race.
Right.
You vote for him because he's Cuban and forget about what he believes in. It doesn't matter what he believes in.
Right.
He's Cuban. Oh, that's it.
That's right. Almost all the Cubans voted for Pinellas. Almost all the blacks voted for Teal, and never the twain shall meet. They don't care Democrat, Republican, Comunista, Fascista. They don't care, man. There's the Cuban, that's my guy. There's the black guy, that's my guy. That's it.
Look at in Hialeah, they have that guy who was. What's his face?
Raul Martinez.
Yeah, he's
That's right.
He never stole a freight train.
Stole a freight train, so they would love him, and they want him been there for life, and they don't give a crap. And if it turns out that he's really Puerto Rican, he's out.
A couple of other things. This morning...
Let's start a rumor that Raul Martinez is Puerto Rican. How do you like that, huh?
Oh, by the way...
They might switch their votes or their blades in a hurry, speaking of Brian.
Some guy called you the other day and told you that Alex, the guy...
Bennett. Alex Pinellas Bennett.
No, the guy who plays baseball in Seattle, Alice Rodriguez.
Alice Rodriguez. I didn't know his name was Alice.
Alice.
No wonder they won't write about him. He won a batting championship in the American League. He's great.
Neil, like Alice Rantel, I mean.
Yeah.
He is not Puerto Rican. He's Cuban.
Alex Rodriguez?
Yes.
Is Cuban, and they still don't write anything about him here?
Correct.
I'm going to tell you something, and I really mean this, because, with the satellite, I see a lot of their games, and I watched him play a lot. This kid is phenomenal. He's unbelievable. This should be the biggest story in the history of sports in his town, and what are they writing about? The same old crap. Same old crap.
Even
Dolphins cut Keith Byers like that's a surprise. We knew Jimmy'd blow his ass out of there. Useless.
Bob Costa said it last night. This kid can be or is the best thing that ever happened to
I'm going to tell you, if he stays healthy, how old is he, 21 now, I think?
Something like
20
that.
or 21. He stays healthy. He's already a shoo-in for the Hall of Fame. How do you like that?
Absolutely.
I guarantee it.
Now,
you can bet your life on it.
Listen to the geniuses at WQAM this morning.
Jess?
Steve Goldush, whatever you call him.
Yeah.
He said, well, with a dish, you shouldn't go buy a dish because you cannot even get sport channels on some of the dishes. And I said, wait a minute. On the big dish, you can get it. And in the little dish, that has been taken care of.
It has?
Well, they're working on it, but there's a possibility that you can get it. But,
yeah.
But you can
if
get
you live
it.
long enough. I'm not so sure. I'm a little leery on his sports channel, man. They're starting to get me real nervous.
But, Neil, even on the little dish, you can get it?
Not yet.
That sounds like comunismo to me.
Yeah, it's on the big dish right now, but I mean, it would have to be there. But if it's I got Continental Cable. It is not on my cable, which today is the second. It's the 3rd or 2nd of October, whatever it is. It's 3 days before the opening Panther game, and it's not on the small dish yet, which is 3 days before the opening telecast. And I'm beginning to wonder if anybody's got the damn thing other than on the big dish.
But I'm telling you, the big ones are always better than little ones.
Yeah, that's what you think.
Oh, well.
That's not what I say.
Well, another thing,
and Ray Shepard is out 1 to 3 weeks with a separated shoulder there, or whatever it is, and we're pretty pissed off about that. And how come they kept that news so quiet until I had to hear about it on a newscast? How come nobody told me that?
Oh, you know what?
How come somebody who's supposed to be giving me all this good hockey information is so busy hawking to China and driving me nuts and trying to make me fight his battles for him? How come he didn't tell me that a separated shoulder had Ray Shepard out 1 to 3 weeks?
Oh, listen to this. Yesterday, the program director,
yeah,
he denied yesterday afternoon that Rush was going to INZ.
Well, that's because they got it for another week or something like that. I don't know.
But come on, it was in today's Herald.
But you know, what was in the Herald?
That they made it official, and they had one line about you, and they said that you were the king of talk show in Dade County. It's in today's Herald.
It's in the Herald. Do we have a Herald? Can we, because there's no papers near anymore. Let's go see if we can scrounge one up. I'll give you a quarter,
section,
George.
Whatever you call it.
It's in the death section?
Yeah.
The Herald, by the way, should have a death section today in honor of getting whipped in the election last night, and I love that Alex Pinellas, right out of the box, said, hey, one of my big priorities is going to be to make sure to defeat this arena thing.
Oh, by the way.
Nice going, Alex.
Oh!
All right.
Hey, Neil, tell George not to go cagar while you're on the air, please.
He's smoking one right now. Get out of here, pal.
All right, Neil.
See ya.
Bye.
Arrivederci. Yeah, no cagar, okay? No more cagar. I'll take one, by the way, if you got a little one. We have an open line in Dade, 751. Oh, do we have the Herald? It's probably another one of those Barry Jackson columns.
Fetching it right
See,
now.
one of the interesting things is they've been feeding Barry Jackson. I'm almost beginning to wonder, intentionally misinformation from over there at QAM. And, of course, very dutifully, he puts it in there like Jimmy Syphilis is going to be doing a show. Jimmy Syphilis don't know nothing about it. How do you like that? Thank you so much, Adam. You're just a real... It's so good to have Adam here real early in the morning, sucking around like Andy did. Hey, look what it did for him. Got him to the big time. He sucked his all the way. He sucked his all the way to the big city.
So do you want a Bowser
He's doing
or
work.
Licenciado?
I'll have a licenciado, please.
Talk and Entertainment Radio. 610 WIOD.
Who runs this place?
I don't know.
Put on my 501s and I headed for the street. Just checked out the best of Hustler and I'm starting to feel the heat. Oi! Suddenly I see people checking out my button fly seam. Yeah, I got a first-class riser. It done pitched to tent my jeans. Now I'm sporting a Woody. I'm finding it impossible to conceal. I'm sporting a Woody. I feel like an axle without a wheel. Saw the ghost of Elvis. He was sporting one too.
You
Followed
jackass.
him up to the gates of Graceland just to see what he would do. His ghostly face was beaming as he headed for his room. There's a pretty little ghost, she's waiting for his post down in the jungle room. We're sporting Woodies in Memphis. You turd, it's nearly impossible to conceal. Sporting Woodies in Memphis. I feel like an axle without a wheel. Sporting Woodies in Memphis. It's almost impossible to conceal. Sporting Woodies in Memphis.
Rectum.
I feel like an axle without a wheel.
I feel like I'm emancipated, man. I feel like Martin Luther, whatever his name was, son. Don't get smart. It's 10:34 at WIOD. We're free again, man. We're free at last. And two more trips down the highway from hell. And we get out of this joint. We get out of this once wonderful neighborhood, which since Rick Sanchez moved in has gone to crap. That's right. That's what they said. Is Bill Ross, as soon as that man squatted into that building, he said, there goes the damn neighborhood, and he was right. So here's the article, speaking of fat people. It says Limbaugh moves to WINZ starting on Monday, by Frank Davies, who is not Barry Jackson, so maybe there might be some accurate information in here for a change, instead of little Barry Jackson, who's nothing but a yenta and a troublemaker, and gets it wrong almost all the time. We know you're listening, Barry. Get it right just once in your life would be good. Just one time. Rush Limbaugh, the 800-pound gorilla of talk radio, it says, has been bumped by a 900-pound gorilla, sports talk radio. WQAM 560, adopting an all-sports farm art, is dropping the conservative talker's popular show. Popular show. The guy's got a two-share, has never broken a two-share in, what was it, 3, 4, 5 years now in the market? His popular show. It's popular somewhere, but not here, which it goes on to say later. And WINZ, with its emphasis on news, is picking it up starting Monday. Limbaugh will be heard weekends from 1 to 4 p.m. on WINZ, which will also carry Laura Schlesinger's syndicated personal advice program from 10 a.m. to noon. So now we're really up against it. Now we got not only Rush to combat with, but we got Dr. Laura. Oh, boy, I can't handle that. There go all our 4 women. They'll be right over to Dr. Laura so she can bitch him out. Rush and Laura are great communicators, said our close personal friend, Pete Bolger of WINZ program director. Although one is political and one is full of crap, they both feel strongly about individuals taking responsibility for their actions, says Pete. Limbaugh's departure from QAM had been openly discussed for months and months. With the sale of the station to Beasley Broadcasting, WQAM will add another sports talk show in the noon to 3 slot, now occupied by Lardass. It's the evolution of our format, said Andrew Ass in the Woods, WQAM's program director. Our primary consumer wants to be all sports. He wants us to be all sports. Are they supposed to forget they were all sports? Remember those days when they had the Dave O'Brien? By the way, congratulations, Dave and Joe, when they had Dave O'Brien and who was and Zagacki. Oh, my God. And they had like fractions, man. They had numbers that were so small you had to have the Mount Palomar telescope just to see it, and the number 2. As effective an entertainer as Limbaugh is, this was a marriage that didn't necessarily make sense, says Andrew Ass in the Woods. And it goes on to say this and say that. Speaking of Limbaugh, it said he's so far ahead of whoever's second or third, it's not even close, said Brett Moss, editor of Talk Daily, a radio industry newsletter. But South Florida is different, it says. Here, Neil Rogers on WIOD 610 is talk show champ from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m. Limbaugh never performed here as well as he did in the rest of the nation, said Ass in the Woods, admitting that WQAM did not promote the show successfully. Right, emphasized the suck part. Along with adding Limbaugh and Schlesinger, WINZ announced several other changes which we don't care about. So there you go. Limbaugh on INZ starting on Monday, and a new sports midday show, part of which we can be sure will be the Fat Bitch from 10 to noon. And noon to 3, your guess is as good as mine. Huh? Sure won't be Rimmer. Sure won't be Syphilis. It won't be Ned Sandy Beach. It won't be, who's it going to be? Maybe the Hummer's going to be on from like noon to 7 every day, huh? He can have lunch, a little afternoon snack, and dinner all on the same show. Outstanding. Nice going, Hummer. Oh! You're okay in my book, pal. Here's Delray Beach. Hello.
Hey, Neil.
Yes, sir.
How you doing?
Great.
Listen, in regards to that Alomar incident, I agree with you. I don't think he's a hothead like Albert Bell.
Right.
But will tell you one thing. If they're going to suspend him for 5, then they might as well suspend all the other managers and all that wind up arguing them. Do you see how close they get when they argue?
Oh, yeah. You remember when Don Zimmer and Earl Weaver were notorious for kicking dirt on guys' shoes and up on it, almost in their face? Billy Martin, the same thing.
Yeah, and then another incident that I'm looking at is, how do we know that why he spit at him? I mean, we don't know what this guy
That's
told
right.
him.
He look, anybody who's going to make a judgment on this has got to first at least see the tape, which most of us have seen 400 times, okay? He calls him out on a pitch that's over a foot outside. The Orioles are fighting tooth and nail to win the spot in the playoffs. He calls him out on a ridiculous pitch. It's a grotesque call. They argue. Alomar goes back to the dugout, and then, as you know, they're screaming from the dugout, Hirschbeck yells into there at him, and the report that we get from a pretty good sources, he called him a bleep sucker, and then they come running back out again. Alomar followed by Davey Johnson, whose face is falling apart all over his cheek. And then at that point, they get into the thing again, and Alomar spits in his face. But Hirschbeck evidently, and obviously from what you see, provoked this incident, which doesn't make it right, but then Hirschbeck isn't right either. Who says the umpires now have the right to start doing whatever they want and nobody's ever going to discipline them?
I'll tell you another thing.
Who the hell are they?
When he was talking about the incident in the runway that happened, about him talking about his kid, I think that maybe what he told him was, ever since the incident happened in your family, maybe you haven't been the same person.
No, he didn't tell him that. He said that to reporters. He didn't tell him to his puss.
There you go.
And he heard about it secondhand, which right off the bat leaves you, to wonder, because it was taken out of context. He heard about it secondhand, and he went ballistic and just lost it and ran down the corridor and into the locker room, and he had to be restrained by the other umpires. They dragged his ass out of there.
And he apologized. He wrote a letter. He apologized. And they still, yesterday, they held up the Yankees.
And they
game.
donated $100,000 between Alomar personally and the Orioles to the research foundation that's doing research on that disease, and that's still not good enough. Let me remind you, I don't know if you follow hockey at all.
No, not really.
But during the playoffs last year, when Claude Lemieux came from behind and sticked and rammed Chris Draper of Detroit into the boards and nearly killed this guy, nearly took his head off, okay? He got a 2-game suspension is all he got. And granted, it wasn't, he couldn't appeal it because he didn't have the opportunity. It was the league, Brian Burke said, you're going to serve the next 2 games in the playoffs, and he got it right away. But here's a guy who nearly kills a man. Chris Draper's face was in such disarray that he wanted to come back and sit on the bench. They wouldn't let him sit on the bench because they thought that the players would go nuts if they saw how bad he looked. They didn't want anybody to see him. It's a miracle that kid looks as good as he does now. And it's just, he nearly killed this guy. He gets 2 games.
I'll tell you another
guy spits in the umpire's face and is probably baited to do it, and right away, oh, geez, this is the end of the world. People are going off the deep end. They all got an opinion.
Imagine if Albert Bell would have been the one that would have done that to that umpire. I don't think he would have spit at him. I think he would have taken a forearm to his face.
Yeah, probably.
Another thing, the guy that called earlier that mentioned about Alex Rodriguez being Cuban, I read a big article on him on USA Sports. He's Puerto Rican.
Yeah.
And he's single, and I don't know if he's circumcised.
Is he hung?
I don't know.
We don't know that. Well, we do have to find out if he's circumcised. I'm sure that somebody didn't he went to school here, right?
Yeah, he went to school. He's good friends with Derek Jeter of the Yankees.
Oh, Derek Jeter. He had a tough night last night. Bad break, Derek. Too bad. Texas 6, Yankees 2. Oh! John Burkett, I'm not good enough for the Marlins, but evidently good enough for Texas.
And Darryl Strawberry screwed everything up, too, yesterday.
I loved it. Oh, man, do I love watching the Yankees lose. I get sexual excitement watching that. You have no idea. Oh, I love it.
Neil, listen, I want to tell you, you're great on the radio, and I always listen to your show during work time, and take care.
And I'm a great American.
You know it.
Thanks for the info, pal.
Okay, bye-bye.
See ya. Okay, so let's find out. Is Alex Rodriguez really Cuban? Is he Puerto Rican? Is he hung? He's what?
Dominicano.
That's what we had heard before. So now we got three choices for you. Which one do you like the best? Is he from La República Dominicana, like the cigar that I'm smoking right now? I'm puffing on one. Maybe this is an Alex Rodriguez cigar, huh? What's he puff on? Oh, we don't want to know? Don't ask John Hirschbeck. He might use that word again. So he's either the Dominican Republican or a Dominican Democrat, or he's Cuban, or he's Puerto Rican, and we got to find out if he's circumcised. We have two open lines in Broward, 524-9463, 524-WIOD. No ladies again today. I mean, we really don't care, but Monday you gave us a real false sense of security, like, hey, Ron and Ron are back. The women are back on board on WIOD. I don't hear a lot of ladies now. No ladies, no way, no how. They don't care about whether Sports Channel is going to be on because they don't care about the Panthers, right? They certainly don't care about sports at all. They don't care about Drew Rosenhaus being an asshole. They don't care about Brian Blade shooting his cousin and the guy being dead. They don't care about any of this stuff, and they sure don't watch baseball. That we know for sure. Here's Fort Lauderdale on the purple line. Hello.
Hey, Neil. How you doing?
Great.
I'm a little surprised at your stance on this Alomar thing.
Good.
I think it's a little hypocritical because you're the guy that always says it's just words. You know, when people get upset at something that somebody says, you always say it's just words.
Yeah.
So if this guy...
Well, yeah, but let's be realistic, okay? At any sporting event especially, tempers flare, people get bent out of shape. I mean, if you watch a hockey game, it goes way beyond just words. I mean, if somebody says something provocative to another guy, they drop their gloves and they beat the snot out of each other. There's blood all over the ice, okay? So I think people are getting a little bit carried away about the fact that when somebody incites you by saying something really grotesque and whatever it was, and a guy comes out and it continues, and who knows what else was said beyond that, and he's spitting in his face, short of hitting him. Maybe he was so incensed that the only choices he had were either to spit in his face or maybe haul off and slug him, which at that point he'd probably be out of baseball.
Well,
in other words, you don't think that ever happens?
You there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, my phone's breaking up pretty bad.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, have a great day. Okay, we have an open line in the purple line. I think maybe I asked him a tough question there. Again, most of 90% of the people probably come down on the other side, like Gordon Eads with his emotional column in the Sun Sentinel this morning. I got news for you, Gordon. They've done a lot more to kill baseball than somebody spitting in somebody's face, okay? They don't care about the fans. And the interesting part is it's the umpires who threatened to walk out yesterday in violation of their contract. And now, of course, they had to get their way by at least getting the hearing moved up till tomorrow. Now that's okay. And whatever they decide, that'll be okay, too. But they got plenty of publicity and plenty of press and plenty of sympathy. And in the meantime, the Orioles are kicking ass. And that's all I care about at this point. Because Roberto Alomar happens to be a credit to the game. The guys who are the good guys, it's interesting. They take the crap, and people like Albert Bell and Sheffield and a few of these, and Barry Bonds, who could be the worst of all of them, life just goes on, man. They keep collecting the paycheck. 10:44, and poor Alex Rodriguez, we can't even find out where the hell he's from. Wouldn't you think that he went to school here? Somebody would know how big it is?
Talk and Entertainment Radio. 610 WIOD.
Rectum.
All right. My wife took the car to the mall. She drives my Buick and she's 3 feet tall. I wouldn't ride with her, no way. I said I'd meet her there later today. So I'm just sitting on a bench in Delray, waiting for the lolly bus to take me away. Oi, I'm just sitting on a bench in Delray with my friend Chaim. Oi! Looks like it's time to check my change, 'cause the bus fares don't always stay the same. I'm not gonna do what Yetta tells me to do. To drive at her age, she must be insane. Just sitting here resting my bones, wondering why my wife won't leave me alone. We've talked it over but I never win. I just wind up schlepping through them all again. Oi, so I sit on a bench in Del Rey, waiting for the lolly bus to take me away. Oi, just sitting on a bench in Del Rey with my friend Chaim. And there he is. It's about damn time. I've been waiting here all damn day on this bench. Where the hell have you been? Hey, where the hell are you going? Come back, you schmuck.
1049 at WID. I've noticed that some of these, is it the cart machines or what is it?
Oi!
Yeah, I think it is. Okay, we have an open line on the green line, 1-800-944. This is the last day that we have to work with prehistoric equipment in here, and starting on Monday, you're going to hear the difference in the sound. And then a couple of weeks after that, when they get the brand new transmitter in that'll actually put out more than 10 watts, then you might actually be able to hear the station without putting a tin can to your ear. Here's Hollywood. Hello.
Hey, Neil.
Yes, sir.
What's happening this morning?
I don't know.
Hey, I was listening to Ron and Ron.
Yeah?
And I seen that guy, Drew Rosenhaus, was on.
Right.
Oh, he's telling everyone.
So why did they kiss his ass? Why does everybody kiss his ass?
Oh, you should have heard him.
I did. I heard it.
Yeah, I know that everyone hates me, but I'm successful, and that's all there is. And
yeah,
blah, 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 blah,
He's
blah, blah.
He's a slime ball.
Sure is. Hey, listen, I wanted to ask you something. I saw an article in the Herald yesterday.
Yeah.
That my TCI and the Sports Channel, they're at an impasse because they tried to reach an agreement or something.
Yeah, because TCI wants to make it a premium channel and make you pay extra if you want to watch the games, if you want to get Sports Channel.
Now, let me ask you, if I go to the dish, the small one, am I still screwed?
I wish I could tell you, and that's what I'm looking for today. I wish somebody, I met the guy. Rimmer introduced me at the exhibition game to the guy from Sports Channel, and he peed all over my leg and he thanked me profusely for giving him all his publicity and telling people all the good stuff. But in the meantime, I would like to find out today or at least before the weekend, I'd like to find out the honest answer of if and when Sports Channel Florida is going to show up on the small dish on DirecTV. Yeah. And also, if it really is going to be like Continental Cable, like I said before, it's not on my cable system yet.
Yeah. So that's,
Not that I need it because I got the big dish, but I mean, most people who got cable would at least like to know if it's going to show up on our cable system.
Yeah, that's what I was looking for
because they had a big story on channel, I think it was on 6 last night after the game, which I didn't stay up that late to watch the story, but I saw the tease for it. It said thousands of Panther fans may wind up in the dark for the opener on Saturday, which doesn't sound encouraging.
So far, that's what it looks like.
Yeah.
All right, sir.
We'll work on it for you.
All right, thanks, man.
Okay, thanks. Yeah, we're crossing our legs and crossing our I's and crossing the T's and dotting the I's, but hey, I don't know. I wish I did know. I wish somebody would give us the honest answer. Somebody would give us the MS on this, like maybe our good, close, personal friend Rimmer, but of course he's probably too busy doing a Yenta routine. Yeah, we'd like to get some meaningful information, you know what I'm saying, and find out if and when, since these guys are going to be doing a game on Saturday, if you're going to be able to see it. I mean, what's the point if you can't see it? But the great news is that Jay Randolph, I know somebody called yesterday with a spy report from QAM, which, of course, most of their stuff you can't believe lately anyway. But it's true. It's right there in a big headline. And since David O'Brien wrote it, you know what? That's an incestuous thing. Angel and O'Brien to call the TV Marlin games next year. Oh, thank God. I'm ready to turn to religion for that. I'll tell you that right now. Because haven't I said over and over again that if you're going to generate excitement in a team, get some interest, especially a town like this that, quite frankly, don't care too much, you got to have some great broadcasts out there. And Jay and Gary, guess what? They're not going to do it. Here's a mobile in Oakland Park. Hello.
Hi, Neil.
Yes, sir.
How you doing?
Great.
I just wanted to confirm that Alex Rodriguez is Dominican Republic.
Oh!
He went to Westminster High School out in Miami.
Yeah, did you ever take a shower with him or anything? Or?
No, I didn't. I'm not into that kind of stuff.
No, well, I mean, I'm talking about like in gym class. I don't mean like that kind of a shower.
No,
I wasn't saying like a golden shower. I just meant like an ordinary shower.
Yeah. No, I didn't get into any of that.
Yeah. I bet you we'll find somebody who claims to have showered with him.
I bet. Well,
because we've had guys over the years call who showered with Jose Canseco.
Oh, really?
Who showered with Rocky Echeverria, a.k.a. Stephen Bauer. All these guys, yeah.
Uh-huh.
We got the inside dope.
Can I call someone a douchebag?
Of course.
Mike Hendricks.
Okay.
Thanks very much.
Thanks for the info, pal.
Yep.
So we got what do we call him? A Dominican? But I thought a Dominican was like a religious sect. You mean like during the off-season he wears those schmatas?
We call him Father Alex.
Father Alex. Alex, God. There you go. Seriously, how come this town hasn't taken to Alex Rodriguez? Like, I mean, even Alex Fernandez, who we love Alex Fernandez, even though he pitches for the marginal White Sox. He's a great kid, even though he's getting chubby in his old age. He's terrific. We love Alex Fernandez. And so I guess an Alex by any other name wouldn't just be treated the same, and that's the problem. What's the story there? Because Alex Fernandez is one hell of a damn good pitcher, and he had a good year with the White Sox. And the rumors are that maybe he's coming to the Marlins next season, which would be great. But here's Alex Rodriguez, a local product who wins the American League Batting Championship, who has a season the likes of which nobody... And there's not a bad word about this kid. I mean, he is as clean and as light-complected and as, I mean, whatever you want, whatever you like about somebody, he's got it. You think that those young girls out there, and especially those maricones, they'd be wild. They'd be having blow-up dolls over A-Rod, especially when they call him A-Rod. Oh, man. That gets the Julios really excited when they call him A-Rod. Or in Canada, they call him Rod, eh? Here's a mobile in Fort Lauderdale. Hello.
Neil.
Yes, sir.
The 5th. Continental Cable already said they're going to give it to you on the 5th.
Yeah, they're going to give it to you, so you better drop your pants.
Number 2.
Yeah.
A few years back, Abe Hirschfield spit at the Herald Reporter.
Right.
You come down pretty hard on Abe.
Yeah.
Pretty hard.
Yeah.
Number 3, because I got to go. There's been more articles on Alex Rodriguez in the local media than you could think about. More than they've had on you.
Not in the Sun Sentinel.
What do you mean not in the Sun Sentinel? Who reads that?
The people that live in Broward. Only communists read the Herald. Have a great day, pal. That's right from inside the Herald. They're still bitter about that election last night. Herald lost again. Herald lost again. Yes. Oh, God, are we excited about that. As the public tells the Herald, they give them the fickle finger of fate and say, take Mickey Arison and that arena. By the way, this is your Heat station, WIOD. See, one thing I've already had a discussion about, the Heat already know my feelings, and quite frankly, they're not going to change anything, and too bad. 10:55 at WIOD, Evening's Delight.
Sorry.
I like that musical accompaniment, but I don't think it really is necessary at the moment. Maybe you want to try it again later with a different beat. Evening's Delight is South Florida's unique fireplace and barbecue showroom. They've got the most incredible selection of fireplace and barbecue accessories anywhere in the country. Let Evening's Delight show you the professional series.
Talk and Entertainment Radio, 610 WIOD, Miami, Fort Lauderdale.
This is the Neil Rogers Show. This is your brain. Any questions?
You've heard of the Four Tops. You've heard of the Four Seasons. And of course, you've heard of the Fab Four. But now, witness the newest sensation in musical groups.
The guys with a little something extra.
Yes, it's the Four Skins, live and uncut.
There's Peter on congas, Dick on bongos, Rod on the drum kit, and Chubby on the timbales.
The four members of the Four Skins.
These guys are nothing more than wrinkly skin and bones, but they are the master beaters of percussion.
This CD includes snippets of the Four Skins caught live at the Zipper in Ouch My Wiener, Germany.
Run out and grab a unit of the Four Skins, live and uncut. Peel back the wrapper and slap it on.
It's the Four Skins, live and uncut.
Okay, it's 11 o'clock at WIOD. We were waiting to find out if Alex is, showered with anybody in the audience, including any of the women. We have an open line at Broward, 524-9463, 524-WIOD. We also want to find out if he's better in the sack than Craig Erickson, and for his sake, we sure hope so. Here's Fort Lauderdale back on the purple line. Hello.
Hey, Neil.
Yes, sir.
I talked to you a few minutes ago, but my phone died out.
Yeah.
I really didn't catch what you said, but what I was starting to say was, before the phone died, is that I don't think people are taking the side of Alomar because of what was said and who said what and who started what. I think they're just saying that spitting on an umpire is going too far. Now, you made the analogy of the Red Wings guy getting hit by Lemieux.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, that's bad, but he took a cheap shot. And he didn't know the outcome of what
he could have killed the guy, okay, from behind, okay, from a blind side. He blindsided him. He jammed him into the boards, got his stick up in his head, and nearly killed the guy.
Yeah, I know,
and he gets a 2-game suspension.
I know, I saw that.
Yeah.
But number one, and so you're probably going to jump down my throat for saying this, but the guy's not an official for the game, number one. And I'm not condoning what the guy did.
But you know what he is? You know what they both are? They're both human beings, okay?
I understand
See, the game is only important to a point, and then beyond that, they both happen to be human beings.
I understand
so
that, but
jeopardizing somebody's very life as opposed to spitting in somebody's face in the heat of a disgusting argument or after somebody says something vile and vulgar and incites you to do it, I don't see the connection at all.
No, wait a second. Now. You're saying that you're saying jeopardizing the guy's life. I don't think that Claude Lemieux went over there to try to kill the guy. I
don't think Claude Lemieux gives a crap, okay? I don't think he cares about the consequences. As far as I'm concerned, Claude Lemieux is crazier than a bedbug. He's nuts.
I can't stand a piece of crap anyway, but
yeah.
I'm not coming to the guy's defense. But again, we don't know what's in the guy's mind. We don't know if the guy really wanted to put that much hurt on the guy.
But what do you mean didn't? In other words, the guy this is his first game. The guy's been playing for years. He knows what the possibilities are when you blindside a guy right up against head right up against the top of the boards.
Yeah, I understand it.
So of course he didn't know the outcome. But in other words, you're trying to say he wanted to just injure him lightly. Is that it?
No, I'm not saying that at all.
Come on, give me a break.
I'm not saying that at all. But my point is with the umpire thing. You have they have rules. We have authority in these games. You can't, once you start spitting on an umpire.
So in other words, they have authority and they can do whatever the hell they want, and they can call people any name under the sun, and they can incite them, they can bait them, they can stand in their face and scream and holler, and nobody will ever admonish them or do anything to them. But if somebody responds by retaliating, then all of a sudden they're bad guys.
Wait a second, I never said he's a bad guy. Are you telling me that there's nobody that the umpires have to answer to?
Yeah, they have to answer to Richie Phillips, so big deal. Like they got their union. You think the union isn't going to back them 99% of the time? Just like all the umpires now banding together and threatening to walk out and delaying 2 games yesterday?
Well, no, I know what was going on. I saw that and all that crap with Richie Phillips. But still, I mean, he still has to. Does Richie Phillips have to answer somebody? Even though Bud Selig's not a commissioner.
Bud Selig is a clown. Okay, he's a non-entity. He doesn't even exist. He might as well not even be on the face of the planet.
Well,
he's a lemming.
Because the system is screwed up with the people that they have in place doesn't mean that the system doesn't work.
I'm just amazed that people who don't even, like the first guy had call on this morning, doesn't follow baseball, doesn't pay any attention to it like most people.
I follow baseball.
No, but wait a minute. But I'm amazed that everybody is jumping on the bandwagon because somebody spit in somebody's face.
It's not jumping on the bandwagon.
We have people that murder people and the thing with Abe Hirschfeld, to bring that up as a comparison, it wasn't in the middle of some kind of a heated event. Abe Hirschfeld spit in the guy's face because he asked him a question he didn't like. Is there some comparison? Abe Hirschfeld is a scumbag, a common, crude scumbag. What's the comparison between him and Roberto Alomar?
Well, then get him kicked out of the damn. Get Hirschfeld kicked out of the as an umpire. Do something. Get rid of him. Have some sort. What he said. If he went over the line, crossed the line as an umpire, he should have some punishment.
But it's not going to happen.
Alomar to take it
it's not going to happen. But you don't. Again, you're not listening to me. These things aren't done like in a courtroom. These things happen in the middle of a heated argument. You're just
understood. But yet he had to pay the price for it.
And I'm going to tell you something. He issued an apology that I thought went way, way above and beyond, and $50,000. And the Orioles kicked in $50,000. And he, apologized for everything he said. And what do you want the guy to do? You want him to blow his own brains out?
No, absolutely not. No, I'm not saying what he did was wrong in doing it as, getting heated and responding to what the guy said. I'm not saying what he's doing wrong. I probably would have done worse. Okay, he's lucky that the guy just spit in his face. I think Hirschberg is. But the point is that you have rules. You have to go by them. If what he did was wrong.
And you know something? What? He got the suspension. He appealed it, which is in part of the system. Players appeal their suspensions routinely, just like jockeys appeal suspensions.
Right.
And they even the league even said, okay, well, to try to pacify you guys, we'll move the hearing up to Thursday. So he still might miss some of the playoffs. So what's everybody been out of shape about?
Right. Well, it's not a.
You said you got to play by the rules. That's the rule, okay?
Right.
If they rule that he's going to have to sit out, he'll have to sit out.
Right. Absolutely, I agree with that. But listen, let me say this before we go. First of all, with this, we'll argue till we're blue in the face. But with this sports channel, I saw yesterday on Channel 6, I believe, they said that TCI was the only cable company in South Florida that is not, well, as of yet, going to pick up sports channel.
Yeah.
Every other cable company
I
got Continental.
How come I'm getting all these reports, all these panicky people out there? Adelphia's not going to have it, and this one's not going to have it. I think if people...
I'm just telling you what Channel 6 said. Now, they could be wrong, but they said that everybody except TCI, and the reason why TCI, there's kind of a... they're not agreeing to, they're not admitting to this, but they're saying that TCI owns Sunshine Network.
Right. I understand that. They got a conflict of interest there, and they were basically trying to be hard asses with Sports Channel.
Right.
And they're saying, well, if you want to be on our system, then there'll have to be a premium channel, and people will have to pay extra for it.
Right. Well, that's what they're saying. But, like he said everybody except TCI is picking up. So
well, I hope they're right.
Get it.
Okay, pal.
So do I.
Thanks. We'll find out Saturday. You'll have to sit and wait, which is a hell of a way to, plan your life. You'll have to sit there and turn it on 7:30 and find out if the Panther Flyer game is on. And if not, we're screwed again. Well, you're screwed because I got the big dish. So, again, all you smartasses out there, well, would you rather have the big one or the little one? Would you rather? Well, haven't I always said consistently, if you like live in a house, if you're able to get the big dish, if you can afford it, if you have the land, if whatever, that's the preferable way to go. And I still believe that, and the programming is a lot less expensive, and you still get tons of stuff on your big dish that you will never, never, ever see on the small dish. End of discussion. Here's a mobile in Fort Lauderdale. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
Hey, Neil. First of all, a couple of things. The umpires, they have a contract, too. If one of their umpires got suspended, they'd be walking out if they tried to enforce any sort of a suspension against them without going through the hearing and arbitration.
You bet, man. Those guys are tighter than a snare drum.
Secondly, you remember the good old days when the umpires were just a part of the game with some of the great rhubarbs that used to happen with Denny Murtaugh and Theo DeRoche.
Sure.
They threw everything at the umpire. Dirt, spit, bottles of water.
Right.
Whatever happened to those days?
Well, those days you didn't have like instant replay, first of all, because you didn't have the mass media frenzy that you have now with every little thing that happens, and so they take an incident and
These guys don't want to be shown up. That's their whole thing. You can't show me up anymore. That's the umpire thing.
Right, and like I said, the last few years they've started more and more because they're on a power trip, and they've more and more started baiting guys. And I wish somebody else out there knew which game it was. It was either a Cub game or it was maybe it was one of the athletic games. I was watching on the satellite a few months ago. They're having an argument. Umpire makes a horrendous call on a called ball or strike. The batter gets bent out of shape, says something. Now he gets back into the batter's box. I mean, the argument's over, and the umpire gets out in front of the plate, bends down, cleans off the plate with his little brush, and then gets up in the player's face and starts all over again, gets him going and throws him out of the game.
Right.
But nobody says a word about that. Absolutely unacceptable.
Another thing now, TCI Sports Channel. First of all, I have TCI. I don't think I'm ever going to see the Panther games.
Yeah.
I hate TCI. But also, what about the chutzpah of somebody like Wayne? Just moving these things from Sunshine without having any agreement with these people. He knew he was going to run into a stone wall with TCI. And them owning the Sunshine cable network.
Yeah.
Now we're screwed.
Well, you got to understand, Wayne owns the sports channel, and I predicted it right off the bat. Sooner or later, and probably sooner, everything that he's got a finger in is going to wind up being on Sports Channel.
Sports Channel. I've called the Panthers. What provisions are they making to have the people who are not going to be able to see these games? Have they taken any, are they looking at a local station to air these games? Apparently, they're not doing anything. So in the end, we're going to get screwed with
I don't know, because they're sure not communicating with me. They're not giving me any information. Mr. Hockey Puck, I'm supposed to be the guy with all the info, and so far, they're not sending any info to me.
And I just want to say goodbye to Jay Randolph with this one night switching over to the Dodger game. He was interviewing Don Drysdale's wife.
Yeah.
And when she left, he said, I just want to thank Don Drysdale's late wife for spending a few minutes with us.
Attaboy, Jay. He hasn't lost it, man.
We love him.
He'll be good out in Ashtabula somewhere. Have a great day, pal. Good luck to us. Yeah, I'm still waiting, man. If there's anybody with a sports channel, if there's even anybody that I know who wants to pass along the accurate information, I'd sure be very anxious to do that, because you know that everybody who's into the Panthers is listening to this show right now, including thousands of people who are just dying to know, are we going to get screwed again, or are we going to actually get to see the game? It's all they want, is to sit there in the comfort of their living room, sit back, turn on the TV, crank it onto somewhere, and enjoy the game. That's all. Hopefully a big win, and then that's it. But like the guy said, everything was done at the last minute, and everybody's being held. Oh, yeah, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming. We've all heard that before, haven't we? Here's West Palm Beach. Gone, long gone. Okay, 2 open lines on the green lines, 1-800-944. Here's Miami. Hello.
How you doing?
Okay, sir.
Heard Cephalo's show at midday on QAM is going to be sponsored by Clearasil.
Yeah. He's going to change the complexion of sports radio.
You mentioned about Rimmer not getting a job, in QAM and Hank walking off the air.
Yeah.
I listen to Hank, Mandage, Defoe. I listen to all those guys. Hank mentions Mandage all the time. Mandage mentions Hank all the time. They talk after the game. Defoe mentions Hank. Big Dog mentions Bo Camper. Is there any reason there's a major click going on here? Why? Can't you figure it out? They don't want Rimmer in the circle.
And why is that?
I don't know. I think maybe the loss
because he's a friend of mine.
No, I think, you know why? Because...
And he's on his show all the time.
Well, these are the same guys that wanted Shula to fulfill his contract. They're the same guys who manipulate everything going on in this town when it comes to sports and whatever we talk about...
I see your point. He's an outsider, yeah.
He's an
he
outsider.
represents a threat because as an outsider, and also the fact he knows something about hockey, which none of them know anything about.
Yeah, what is QAM going to do for hockey coverage? I mean,
wouldn't you think if you're in a position of being on the air over there and you got a contract and your livelihood is dependent on that station, which has been very, very marginal ever since they went all sports, wouldn't you think that you'd want a guy to complement the people you have on air who knows something about one of the sports that you carry on your station instead of having to constantly fake your way through and pretend you know something?
Well, they're going to have the coaches show on there, I guess, on Tuesday at 8 o'clock in the morning. Who's going to ask the questions? They're going to ask the coach if he's getting late or something?
Probably.
They're going to find out, how Robbie doing, how's he doing with the girls, or, because I don't know much about hockey. I've lived in this town all my life, but I would like to learn. I would like to hear somebody educated on the radio besides your show that you can listen to, maybe learn something about it.
Right.
Now, it seems like Rimmer's the only guy in this town. If they put Chris Moore on, he can never do a show. I mean, you don't like him, but, he's all right. From what do I know about hockey, announcers. So I guess Chris Moore is the only guy I've ever heard. I just think that's why Rimmer's getting blown out. I think he's getting a shaft. And on a note here, I wish Defoe would leave your station. I wish he would. I wish you maybe move somebody else up or bring somebody else in it.
What's your thing with Defoe?
He sucks. He's just getting so old. You heard that expression, somebody likes to hear himself talk?
Yeah.
That's DeForest. He just goes and just nonstop. The monologue is just death.
Yeah, I'll tell you the one thing that Defoe, I mean, he's a good guy, but he's since he's changed the way he does the show and with these limericks and puns and all the other stuff, I just don't go for that. The thing he does that really frosts my ass, my favorite show every week with Defoe is Thursday when he's got Dave Hyde and Bob Rubin, because they're great. They both, actually open up a mouth and say something. And he'll take the guy's only, keep in mind, only got a 2-hour show, and he's got news in there and commercials, so it's really only like an hour and a half. So you got an hour and a half to do a show, and you kill the first 18 minutes before you bring these guys on with a monologue. I mean, what's the point? Why not get right into it, baby, and let's hear what these guys have to say?
Let's get a difference of opinion. I mean, I think that's what makes sports talk, something... you talk about Hank. Hank blows off. Anybody that doesn't agree with Hank is gone in 2 seconds.
Yeah.
It's frustrating.
But you know something, man? I don't know what it is about him. They're lined up like a bunch of sheep. They're just one after another after another.
They're all looking
like, well, who do you like in the game this week? Like this guy's a maven, like he knows something.
You know something? I don't gamble on football. I like football. If you called up and said, Hank, I just like to watch football in the afternoons and don't gamble on it, oh, you're crazy, you're lying to me.
Yeah.
This guy must be in debt. He's got to be. With his picks on Sunday on ESPN.
I got news for you, man. I got news for you. People who gamble on ball games, and there's millions of them, anybody that tells you they're making money doing it, 99% of them are liars.
Well, Hank's going to be losing weight because he's running out of food money.
Well, see,
so that jacket's going to fit sooner or later.
There's a silver lining in every big sow. Have a great day, pal.
See ya.
Okay. We have an open line in Dade, 751. We got one on the green line, 1-800-944-9463. We're not hearing nothing from Rimmer today about the Sports Channel thing. We're not hearing anything from my good friend over there that works for Wayne. That's the head of the Sports Channel. Why aren't you people communicating with us so we can soothe the nerves of all these Panther fans out there? You get on the air, you promote, you try to get some interest, you sell tickets, you get asses in the seats, you turn people on to the greatest sport in the world by far. I'm going to tell you what a hockey fan I am. Last night, and I grant you baseball I could live without, but during the playoffs, I watched some of it. Yankees and Texas last night, I watched that only intermittently. I watched much more of the Penguins and the Bruins exhibition game with Mike Lang on KBL, thank God. Much more of that than I did the Yankee game. And Mario was playing, and Yager and Francis, and everybody was in the lineup, so it was like almost a real game. And by the way, the Penguins have no defense. I mean, no. I just want to mention that to you. 11:15 at WIOD. If you're
Talk and Entertainment Radio, 610 WIOD.
Oh, my God. If you play Hank Goldberg again, I'm going to fucking throw up.
Lady Diana, Charles is the geek. Wonder how he'll manage to be the king. We find it funny, we thought he was a gent. Do you think his mommy was a stuffy witch? Charles and Di, their life is like a circus. Sunday tabloids show us Di's no none. Then there's Charles for a certain shock on 18.
Hey, stupid!
His family jewels they sprung. Lady Diana, we have seen your breasts. Wonder how they managed to see you undressed. royal crap is never ending. When those divorce papers gonna come? Secret tapes and lovers are intriguing, but it's so much fun.
Oh!
Lady Diana, Charles is a geek. Wonder if he'll manage to be the king.
So let me ask you this. Maybe we'll get a woman out there who would like to do Alex Rodriguez. Maybe we'll get a guy out there who would like... Anybody out there want to do A-Rod? We have an open line in Dade, 751. Well, that's what they call him, man. It's A-Rod. He'd be A-Rod. What's wrong with that? At least you can remember that, because we got so many of these Alex guys, you know, so many of these spics with the same names. It's A-Rod and A-Fur and whatever. Here's Pembroke Pines. Hello.
Hello, Uncle Neil.
Yes, sir?
Yeah, I have a little information for you on Alex Rodriguez.
All right. See how timely this is. Perfect.
I have a couple of his rookie cards. He's born in New York City, 7/27/1975.
75, so he's 21, like I said.
Yeah, that's pretty good math.
Right.
He bats right, throws right. He weighs 190. He's 6'3", taller.
I can't believe you didn't give me any lunch, George. That was very nice. Yes?
He's a lot taller than I thought.
Yeah.
Being a shortstop, you know. And he hit .312 in the minors with 24 homers. He was drafted number 1.
Right.
And that's about it, Neil. Oh, by the way...
what he had, 357 this year, I think?
Yeah.
Won the batting championship?
He's phenomenal.
He's a great fielder. He's a great hitter. He's got power. He's whatever he's fantastic.
I really
he should be a
enjoy
role. Every kid who's into anything, into sports at all in this town, should have Alex Rodriguez as a role model.
Well, I'm about your age. I probably enjoy it more than the kids. I tried Ron and Ron. It's terrible. I'm sorry, Neil. You're still God, and you always will be.
But you don't drive a pickup truck or a Jeep Cherokee,
I don't.
man.
I drive an old Continental.
Oh, not a Jew canoe. Watch yourself.
I knew you'd say that.
Okay, I'll see you in Sunrise.
Take it easy, buddy.
Okay, pal.
So long.
So there's the info. We got some guy out there with some baseball cards on Alex Rodriguez, and let me say it again, like Don Cherry would say, all you kids out there, you want somebody to look up to. Here's a kid, okay? Never stole a freight train, doesn't act like some kind of a jerk out there in the field. He goes out there and does the job with his bat and with his glove and with his thing, and that's it. So if you want to look up to something, look up to A-Rod. And then stand up straight and be a man. Here's Boca. Hello. Like I said, Boca. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
What's that guy, man? That last guy talking. Ron and Ron make Rick look like, crap. You know? Rick's, forget it. I don't want to talk about that.
I want you to say what's on your mind, because it gets
really
Rick very upset. See, I want
Rick,
listen, Rick and Suds are going to do great in the afternoon. I predicted that, and I'm positive of it. They're going to do much better than they did in the morning, but I think that Rick needs to understand, and I'm sure he realizes this in the back of his mind, that they've got like a new honeymoon period. See, because the problem I got is I'm where I've always been. In other words, it's not like I'm leaving or I'm coming back at a different time. I'm just here like I always for 100 years, okay?
Thank God.
But now they're going in the afternoon, so it's like they got a whole new honeymoon. Hey, welcome back to the afternoon. This is number 422, checking back in. And this is going to go on for a few days. And then after that, it's like, okay, now what do we do now? See what I'm saying?
They're not, I really didn't like Ron and Ron that much before, but now they're not that bad, actually, considering what I heard the past couple of years this morning on IOD. But, no.
Let me just say this, too. And, again, setting aside what I enjoy or what I like, that show is going to do great on this station.
I don't drive a truck either, man.
But I'm just telling you, Ron and Ron are going to have a big number on this station. And Rick and Suds are going to have a big number in the afternoon. In fact, I believe, I really do, I believe Rick and Suds will have bigger numbers in the afternoon than Phil did. And I'm not making a comparison with the talent because, why would I do that? But I'm just telling you, I think they will do better. I think that they appeal to a much broader group of schmerls out there and whatever.
They'll definitely appeal to the intelligence we have down here.
Right.
There's no question about that.
Well, so let me ask you this. Don't you think that if there's going to be a show that's on statewide, that Ron and Ron is the perfect one for that?
Well, I'm saying Rick and Suds, too.
And Rick and Suds?
Anyway, I got the information on the cable.
Okay.
I called the sports channel because I was very concerned.
And you want to be.
Yeah, and I was.
And I'm really concerned why they're not giving me no info. It's really porking my...
Well, I called them directly, so here's the scoop. Only TCI, you're the only people that have to worry about it.
Right.
And I talked to them, and they said every other channel is going to put like a bulletin on the bottom on your cable information station the morning of the 5th.
Saturday morning, yeah.
Right, and they're going to tell you what to do and where to look for it.
Where to go, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, no problem.
But what about the small dish?
Well, I almost bought one until I found out they're gonna, keep it on.
But see, some people.
That's why I had to find out.
What I'm concerned about, though, is some people did go out and buy the small dish because they were told, and this is the information I was given, that they would definitely be on DirecTV in time for the opening of the season. And now here we are, a couple of days ahead of it, and we're still up in the air, so to speak.
You got to imagine they would be on there, though. There's only one fly in the ointment, and that's the group that has a vested interest.
Yeah.
So, and everyone else would just be psychotic.
I hope you're right.
Yeah, I wouldn't worry about it.
Okay, pal.
Except for TCI.
Thanks for the info.
Bye.
See ya. Okay, there's a guy with some good news. Just sit back and relax, okay? Take a deep breath, swallow a couple of good Percodans or something, and just calm down. It'll be there. It'll be there. Trust us, okay? And if it's not there, then we'll have, like, riots in the streets, and we can take all our rats out there and start throwing them at the cable people. Speaking of rats. It's 11:26 at WIOD.
Talk and Entertainment Radio, 610 WIOD.
Yo! Oh!
Tonight on the Forks Network, it's Star Neck, the Neck Generation.
Stardate 2020 plus 12 minus 3. Well, I tell ya, I noticed the crew at the dinner time looked a little down at the mouth. I think they're feeling homesick for the hills of planet Earth. So we're gonna have us a good old get down and hoot and holler wang dang wiener roasting camp out on Remus R9, a planet here in Vector DD7. Captain Slim T Jerk, Roger Wilco 10-4, over and out.
Sing around the campfire, join the campfire next.
Woo! Damn it, Captain Pickard. That's some mighty fancy fiddle picking. I wish I could pick like that, but only got 7 fingers. Pick another. Okay, how many dogs does everybody want?
Hey, I can eat 6 wieners.
Captain, I'm picking up a life form on my CVR. It seems to be coming from that way. Hey, Snotty, pass some marshmallow. Everybody set your laser guns to stupid. We need to use extreme caution.
Now, I'll tell y'all, look at this thing. It looks like a cross between a blue lizard and my double cousin Bubba Clinton. Dang, he's ugly.
What is that thing he's carrying? Looks like some sort of mutated get fiddle.
Don't shoot. I just want to jam. Hey, Captain Pickard. Can I sit in and pick a little with you?
Well, sure, son. You're leading, I'll follow.
Okay. I call this one the Remus Crater Breakdown. Here we go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Kick it, boys.
Don't miss a moment of the excitement on the next Star Neck, the Neck Generation, only on the Forks Network.
Smoking.
11:32 at WIOD. Boy, if I had $1 for every trailer park in this country, I wouldn't have to be sitting here right now, I'll tell you that. We got an open line in Dade, 751-9463, 751-WIOD. And, of course, if we didn't have so many trailer parks, Jenny Jones would be in big trouble, and Oprah, too. And we have an open line on the green line, 1-800-944-9463. You know, I've come to the conclusion after Monday, that was just, that was an aberration. That will never happen again. So I just say screw the women. And most of the people, and George is nodding his head right now, most of the people saying, all right. So just screw them. Here's a Parkland. Hello.
Hey, Neil.
Yes, sir.
Here's my problem with the Roberto Alomar situation.
Yes?
Players, managers, and umpires have been screaming obscenities at each other and arguing for the last 125 years.
And squirting tobacco chews in each other's face, yeah.
I mean, they scream the C-sucker word and the mother effer word left or right. I mean, umpires hear it from the players and managers all the time.
Yeah.
What happened, first of all, was a terrible call. The pitcher's way outside.
Right.
He walked to the dugout. Apparently there was some more stuff said from the dugout, and then the umpire turned around and threw him out.
Right.
Now, where Alomar and Johnson came running out, you can read Alomar's lips. He's like saying, for what? For what? Like, I'm out of the game. For what?
Right.
Davey Johnson tried to separate the two, and he was, I'm surprised.
Yeah, but his skin kept falling off his body, and it couldn't be very effective.
But I'm saying that if Hirschbeck, who, by the way, I don't know that much about him. He doesn't have a reputation like that pain-in-the-ass Joe West or Angel Hernandez.
West.
Angel Hernandez got Andre Dawson tossed out of a game this year earlier.
Right.
Baiting.
I remember that.
These guys are baiting umpires, all right? Hirschbeck, I don't know that he is. So I'm saying if he said something that derogatory to Alomar, whether it be a racist comment or, anything really that bad, Johnson was right there. Don't you think Johnson would be jumping up and down screaming in defense of Alomar that, he was justified in spitting in this guy's face? I mean, I don't know that I've ever seen any umpire, any manager or player spit in the face before.
Yeah.
And if he supposedly did say something that derogatory to bait him, Johnson certainly would have heard it because he was right there.
Yeah.
And I haven't heard him react at all as far as in defense of Alomar, saying that he was justified in spitting. So
well, he's not going to say he was justified in spitting. He's not going to say that.
Well,
he can't do that. And I'm not saying he was justified. I never said that.
Right.
I'm saying that they were both wrong, and that the thing with the umpires precipitating these things is not acceptable. Yeah, these guys have to be on equal footing. I mean, the umpires got to be in control to a point, but the players also have to have some recourse if the umpires are going to, keep taunting them and baiting them.
Right.
And like I told the other guy, in a hockey game, when's the last time you heard somebody complain that somebody spit in their face?
Mm-hmm. No, I'll agree with that. I just don't. I mean, umpires again have baited players before. I mean, I've never seen anybody spit in an umpire's face before.
No, I haven't either. But let me ask you something. Like Zimmer and in the old days, Eddie Stanky and DeRocher and all these guys, a lot of them used to chew tobacco.
Right.
Don't you think that these guys were like, spurting like tobacco juice? I mean, and screaming and yelling. I think the most interesting thing about this whole thing is the way that people interpret spitting in a man spitting in another man's face.
Yeah.
And to me, I mean, maybe because I look at it from a different perspective, but, is that the end of the world?
It's pretty disgusting, though, Neil. It's just nasty. I mean,
that's what Rutger Hauer said.
You don't want to have anybody spitting in your face, obviously.
That's what Rutger Hauer said at the end of the Hitcher.
And unfortunately, it happened just, the thing is, if this was still a regular season, if you were midway through the season, maybe Alomar would be sat down for 10 or 12 games,
right,
and that would be it. But, if he's stupid enough to do this on the eve of his team making the playoffs, then his suspension should go into effect now.
So, in other words, you think that in the middle of a heated argument like that, somebody is thinking that clearly that, we're going into the playoffs, I better not do it. I mean, it obviously happened just spontaneously. He lost it. I mean, he just went ballistic for whatever reason, which doesn't make it right, but it also doesn't make right whatever precipitated it.
Well, didn't Pete Rose get 40 games several years back? Was it Dave Pallone that he pushed?
Yeah.
It was, okay. And
and in Pallone's book, he goes on there and tells you how. I mean, he really he came down on Rose. I mean, if Rose was safe by 5 feet, he was out. Right. That's right.
He would tell you a lot about the son of a bitch umpires that were out there. That really had. So again, the umpires are not blameless, but I think this is the first time, and I think it's pretty disgusting. But we can debate it and argue it forever.
Just say goodbye to Jay Randolph. That's all I say.
And a couple of points concerning that.
Yes.
Joe Angel, he's okay. The thing that bothers me is he'll be broadcasting the game, be speaking perfect, unbroken English, and then, there's a ground ball to Arias, throws over to first to Colby, and he's out. That brings up Roberto Hernandez.
Oh, yeah, well, he tried. That's part of the shtick again, and that's the thing I don't like about Joe. I still say he's the most frustrating broadcaster I've ever heard, because he could be great, but he wants to be John Miller. He wants to be a comedian. He's a John Miller clone.
Yeah, and the affected tone in his voice, the Marlins win.
I'm not into fake excitement. I've been listening to baseball for 40-some years now, and I never remember any announcers doing fake excitement. I mean, either it's exciting or it's not.
Well, there's a lot to be said for fake excitement from time to time.
Yeah, but not in a ball game.
In closing, page 3A in the Sun Sentinel, I'm sure you have it nearby.
Yes, I do.
I think a caller called yesterday about the Angels, the California Angels kicking people off a plane. The plane had to turn around and pick up the Angels.
Right. Passengers grounded by Angels. It's right here, America West Flight 542.
And then go to the bottom of the page, bottom left, honor student suspended.
Yeah.
A 13-year-old honor student who borrowed some Midol from a friend was suspended for 10 days in order to undergo a drug evaluation for borrowing Midol.
Erica Taylor never even used the over-the-counter pills which are taken to relieve cramps, headaches, and other symptoms, but she was in possession of Midol. Thank God she had that and not a gun. Or is it the other way around?
Probably the same town that 6-year-old got suspended for kissing the girl on the cheek.
There you go. Have a great day, pal.
All right, Neil.
See ya. Now, who the hell could this be?
Good morning. Understand you're looking for me.
Yeah, we're looking for you, Rimmer.
Well, David Neal said, he came into the rink, he says, you better call Neal. He's been talking about you for the last half hour.
Yeah.
So
I haven't been talking about you. I've been wondering, inquiring minds would like to know about this sports channel business, and there are a lot of people getting real nervous. Now, I did have a call a couple of minutes ago from a guy who called Sports Channel. Now, remember you introduced me at the game to the guy from Sports Channel?
Vice President and General Manager Rich Bradley.
Right, and he said he loves me and he appreciates all the publicity I've given him and the games being on Sports Channel. Well, that's great, but at the same time, I would see, unlike some people in this business, my credibility is important to me. If I'm ever going to have an income, credibility is important. So I don't like coming on here and giving out information and then finding that, well, maybe it's true and maybe it's not. So I'm trying to get the story behind the story, as when Saturday comes, where is this sports channel going to be and who's going to get it?
Well, Neil, as I said the last time I was in your studio, that Continental, Adelphi, Comcast, and Jones will all be on the system by Saturday. And I talked to Rich Bradley this morning, and by the way, have George check the fax machine. He is faxing over a letter that was written by an attorney that deals with this whole TCI sports channel situation. But anyway,
I already got that. I got a copy of it.
Okay, you got it already. That's quick. That's quick.
No, yesterday I got it from somebody else.
Oh, okay.
So tell him thanks, but I'm way ahead of him.
All right. Well, anyway, Rich Bradley tells me this morning that all 4 of those systems, and 4 of 5 overall here in South Florida, will be up and operating. One of the systems has already started carrying Sports Channel, and I don't know which one of the 4 it is, but they'll all be up by midnight Friday or Saturday morning.
Right.
And as far as DirecTV is concerned, and I quizzed him on that this morning as well, he's very optimistic that there'll be a deal with DirecTV. Now, the problem is, and you know better than anybody, is they've got to find a channel for Sports Channel. So the DirecTV people are working on it right now, and the hope is they will have it up by Saturday, but there is a chance they won't be able to get that done by Saturday, but it might be early next week before Sports Channel is on DirecTV. But the bottom line is that everybody will be on board except for TCI.
Yeah. So TCI is doing the job.
Well, I mean, I think everybody knows, and you've talked about it at length here over the last several weeks, and that is that TCI is a majority owner of Sunshine Network.
Yeah.
They also manage the network, and what they're doing basically is punishing the sports fans here in South Florida, and they're not punishing Sports Channel, which I guess is the attempt here, but they're really punishing their own customers and consumers.
Okay, so anything else new, Rimmer?
Anything else new? No,
Yeah.
not to my knowledge.
Yeah.
Not to my knowledge.
I'm giving you that opportunity. I'm giving you that window of opportunity now to lay on us anything you'd like.
Well, I think I've got to do it face-to-face.
Face-to-face with who?
With you.
Oh.
Later on this week, we'll have a pretty good idea what's going on.
Yeah.
And I'll be.
What does that mean?
I'll be in a better position to and be more prepared to talk. You know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
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 Anyway.
So we do know that Limbaugh starts Monday on WINZ. We do know that.
Yeah, I heard that this morning listening to your show.
Right.
On my way here to the practice
I mean, it's in the Herald, so it must be true. And it wasn't written by Barry Jackson, so there's a chance it might be accurate and wasn't fed by somebody that's trying to misinform him.
Well, I don't know what the story is there, but
yeah,
that's all I can say at this point.
And Ray Shepard out for 1 to 3 weeks with a separated shoulder, which I'm really upset to hear about that.
Well, not as upset as Doug McClain is. I mean, after all, the Panthers open up Saturday here, and they're looking to increase the scoring from last year and starting the season with Ray Shepard, but he was hurt in Hamilton last week. And it's really a case of how much pain Ray can play with. If you remember in the playoffs, he separated his other shoulder and was expected to miss 2 or 3 weeks and was back in a couple of games. And it's all a pain threshold thing with Ray. And he was here early on this morning getting treatment, and he wants to play as early as possible. Definitely out this weekend. Knowing Ray, I wouldn't be surprised to see him try to make an attempt to play next Tuesday in the home opener, but barring that, certainly by the end of next week.
I heard Chris Draper said that he wishes Claude Lemieux would have spit in his face instead.
Yeah, I bet.
Yeah.
I bet. And listen, if you look at the video, I'd love to talk about my Orioles.
Yeah.
If you look at the video, you can see the umpire, Hirschbeck, baiting Alomar.
Right.
I mean, you could just see it. There's obviously some expletives that went back and forth, and you can't read Hirschbeck's lips, but you get the idea looking at Alomar that Hirschbeck was baiting him. And as you know, I covered the American League for 10 years in Baltimore with the Orioles, and I saw on a regular basis, in fact, one of the umpires, Shylock, who's working that American League Championship series or preliminary series, divisional series, Shylock is in Baltimore. He's one of the worst guys at baiting players.
Yeah.
And Alomar is not, and I know Roberto Alomar very well from covering the Blue Jays and the Orioles in all those years. Roberto Alomar is not a hothead. He's a very low-key individual, and he just snapped. Now, there was some problems previously with the two, but I agree with you wholeheartedly that while the act was not right, I mean, obviously Alomar, something snapped there, and something had to be said between the two. There'll be a hearing, obviously, later on this week, and I would think that part of the suspension may come later on in the series, but it'll be a moot point if Baltimore wins again today.
And like I said, Claude Lemieux gets 2 games for nearly killing a guy, and the people all over America are like up in arms about Roberto Alomar.
I've seen
Unbelievable.
Worse. By the way, I've seen worse on a baseball diamond. I've seen Earl Weaver lose it with umpires before, and maybe get a 1 or 2 game suspension, a slap on the wrist. Roberto Alomar is a classy player, maybe not classy in this situation, and something should happen, but the umpires have got to be dealt with too. You know better than anybody watching all these sports. I mean, how many times have you seen officials in the NHL at times bait players?
Paul
Stewart is the worst.
Famous for it.
Paul Stewart is the worst.
Okay, got to go, Rimmer.
All right, bud.
See you later.
Bye.
Okay, there's the latest poop on Sports Channel. We have an open line in Dade. We got 2 in Broward, 524-9463, and 1 on the green line. It's 1144 at WIOD. Lorenzo's in North Miami Beach on the corner of 163rd and Dixie Highway, and Ben and Bob's in the Indian Tray Shopping Center in Weston. They continue the big 45th anniversary sale that's going on as I speak, and will continue going on right through to the 2nd annual Italian Heritage Festival, November 1st through 3rd. So right now at Lorenzo's, prime rib veal chops are $8.99 a pound. Leg veal cutlets, $10.99 a pound. Try the Peter Luger steak sauce, the best in the world. Trust me, only $4.99. This Thursday through Saturday, fresh red snapper fillets are only $8.99 a pound. Delicious fresh poached salmon with dill sauce, $10.99 a pound. Imported prosciutto, $6.99 for a half pound. And just arrived at Lorenzo's Pasta Grill, homemade California red wine, a 1.5-liter bottle, $6.99. Over at Ben and Bob's in Weston, pick up Florida juice oranges, 8 for a buck, and you'll find lots of great seafood at Ben and Bob's too. Oven-ready flounder, $3.99 a pound. Swordfish steaks, $9.99 a pound. Farm-raised Maine mussels, 99 cents a pound. It's the big one, and it continues right now. The 45th anniversary sale at Lorenzo's Italian Center in North Miami Beach, and Ben and Bob's Fresh Seafood and Produce in Weston.
Talk and Entertainment Radio, 610 WIOD.
Where the hell's the soap, asshole? Oh!
1048 at WIOD. So George commits the ultimate snub today. He orders food from Ray's up the street and doesn't, of course, act. And I see the young lady come in here and bring him a big bunch of free crap. And so now he's another one on a power trip, just like John Hirschbeck.
It's Wednesday.
Just like John Hirschbeck, George. Exactly. There you go. You and Rutger Hauer and what's
You're not
his
going
name?
to Mommy's today?
No, I'm not going to Mommy's. I'm not in the mood to go to Mommy's, okay? I've had enough psychotherapy for 1
we'll
week.
make another trip.
So Rimmer continues killing our people in Broward. I guess they don't mind him anywhere else, but Broward, they hate him. I had like every line on his board lit all morning, not just now, but all morning. He comes on the air with some kind of mamby-pamby information there. And like Broward, you can watch them dropping off like they're having a Rimmer attack. God, 524-9463, 524-WIOD. The coast is clear, okay? Here's a mobile in the Gables. Hello.
Hello.
Yes, sir.
How you doing today, Mr. Neil Rogers?
Okay.
I wanted to make a comment about the Run and Ron show and the changes you guys had.
Yes, sir.
Okay, as far as Run and Ron, I mean, between that and Rick and Suds, I see no difference. They're both about the same entertaining to me in the morning, maybe because I'm not that woken up.
Yeah.
And,
so maybe you're just easy.
there you go. I'm easygoing, but I'm telling you, Rick and Sud in the afternoon, you're definitely right. They're much more energetic. It's like night and day.
They're awake. I told you that. I told you that was going to be better in the afternoon. They're not. Their morning show was. Trust me.
Yeah, I mean, he's even more thick-skinned in the afternoon. He's even got a sense of humor. He doesn't get mad all the time.
Just wait.
As far as Rimmer,
yeah,
I like Rimmer and everything, but it just seems that the only way the man has a pair of balls is when he's with you on the show. He has to hold your hand for him to get pissed off. And
when did he ever get pissed off on his show? I've given him every opportunity. I've encouraged him to strike back. And George just made a good comment during the break. The one thing the people in this market are conditioned to is people with balls. If they perceive that somebody is like weaseling around, if they perceive that somebody doesn't have the cojones to come on and tell it like it is or strike back and defend themselves, they don't respect that. They get very nervous about that. They don't like being weaseled around.
Yeah, because he really does his job. I mean, he does a lot of research and he does his job real good. But I mean, you just got to stand up to people. I mean, as far as Hank Goldberg, I mean, the guy's a jerk.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? The guy does. I mean, he just screams a lot, and he thinks he knows a lot. I mean, he knows some things. I mean, I think Rimmer, if he had the chance, he could. I mean, the way he researches stuff, he could do a lot better job. But I mean, you got to butch up, man. I mean, And I mean, you just can't be holding your hand.
I've told this man that every day when he calls 7, 8, 10 times a day when I'm at home. I've told him that 8 million times. You got to grow up here. You got to butch up. You got to stick up for yourself. I can't fight the whole world's battles for him. You know, I mean, I made a bad mistake, I think, yesterday by trying to fight his battle for him. I just give him another opportunity here, and, well, maybe by later in the week they'll start growing. He took some medication. He's checking every few minutes, see if there's any fuzz or anything growing, and if anything happens, he might come on here and grow up here.
All right, Neil, I'll let you guys go on with your show, and I enjoy listening to you every day.
Have a great day, amigo.
Oh, one thing more.
See?
One thing I do like about you.
Yeah.
My favorite thing, I love the way you get worked up to a frenzy, and all of a sudden you'll just change tones and do your promo like nothing. You weren't even mad.
There you go.
I love it.
Have a great
one.
life. He must have seen that check I got for one day. We have an open line in day. Now, let's not go through this again because we've had a stellar morning here today. I mean, yesterday was one of the worst. Seriously, I couldn't get over yesterday. Couldn't get over yesterday. Even as long as I've been on the air in this market, I couldn't get over the indifference, especially after Monday, after the tremendous, the women, the men, the old, the young, the in-between, the phenomenal response. And then yesterday, man, it was like we could have brought up every topic that's ever been in the history of mankind, serious, light, idiotic, moronic, and it made no difference. And if you guys are going to play that game again today, it's going to be, I think a 2-hour show sounds good to me. 2 hours is plenty. 2 open lines in Broward. Let's go here. 5249463. If Rick Riley can get phone calls, then God only knows I should. Don't take that personal, Rick. How about we start giving out numbers? 5249463 in Broward, and we have an open line on the green line. And what are we going to do about some food in here, huh? What are we going to get in here for a poor, starving old Jew? What?
Chris will come back. You want your weenies?
I don't want no weenies, okay? I got enough weenies out there. 524 WIOD. Come on, let's check. Let's see if we can get those going. I love that here in the beginning of Rick yesterday. Let's check and see if we can get all these people checking in here. Come on, 524. We're putting a clock to it. Okay, like I said, 2 hours sounds real good to me.